welcome to Layback with Betfair. Joined by the A-team, we're back.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Layback with Betfair. My name's Nick Foote, I'm the host of the show. Order's been restored, I'm back in the chair for episode 4, and what a huge weekend of racing it is. We've got the Newmarket Handicap Group 1 down the straight to headline this weekend, and the two men that are going to help me dissect the form at both Flemington and Royal Randwick, as of course Tom Haylock, and we welcome Reece Goodwin back from a couple-week hiatus. G'day, Reece.
Hello, mate. Yeah, back on the scene. Couple of weeks off.
No runners today?
Tonight. So I'll be able to fit you boys into my busy schedule.
You've got the float parked at the front?
Yeah, ready to go. But good to be back on board. Looking forward to the weekend. Obviously, plenty of exciting racing and hopefully some winners to be found.
Do you keep a calendar, Reece? Are you a digital sort of operator, or are you in your diary, or are you more a written?
His clock is wrong in his car. That's why he said he'd be here at 12.
Gotcha.
That was a G up, but he took that seriously.
Okay.
It was like the headphones with cords on it.
Yeah.
But
wouldn't surprise me.
I must admit, I'm terribly unorganised. Like, there was that I was talking about the launch of the Pakenham and Cranbourne
the Super Club.
The Super Club, the Southeast Racing. Thank God the lady that organised it texted me on the day and said, "Are you right for this afternoon?" I thought, yeah, sure, I'm right. Yeah, otherwise I just wouldn't have turned up. I had no idea. I completely forgot. So I'm not great with that.
Heard you didn't say much anyway.
No, there wasn't much to be said. I had fair competition, but we got a few words in.
He was also hosting that, wasn't he? Yeah, a couple of the great chatters there, Reece Goodwin and Kent Senior. Tommy, you've seen them well last week, but just not quite getting them across the line. Lots in the placings, lots featuring. I feel there's a big day brewing for Tom Haylock.
That sums me right up at the moment, mate. I've had that many seconds. Even getting beat by Reece's $20 shot. Yeah, on Sunday. Was it Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday at Cole.
He knocked me off. I back to $10 shot, and Reece knocked me off on Sunday.
I thought I was getting a well done, mate message, and it was him abusing me.
That's so good.
And then fifth message said, "Well done, though."
After all the excuses why mine lost, congratulations on the win. Hey, this is let's keep the abuse rolling. It's a great segue into the lay bin for this week. And Reece, usually I look at the run sheet, and your column, we worked on Excel here, is usually pretty blank, but there's a few words in there.
There's normally a big open white box with nothing for me to lay. But no, there's something there for me this week. Obviously, plenty of discussion with Espiona on where she was going to go, and Uncle Chris had her in both places. And Chris said on the radio she was actually stable to Melbourne, so you would think probably more likely to stay in Melbourne and save the trip with the warmer weather.
And had a jump out at Flemington.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, true.
He performs best up the straight.
Yeah, and on firm tracks. It's only 38 degrees. Anyway, yeah.
Hopefully she wins in Sydney, though. But, the Twitter meltdown about, her being in two places. Well, it was still only acceptance day. And there's a rule put in place that Chris can do that. So I don't think anyone should be giving Chris a hard time about it. He's just doing his job. He's giving owners, room for both races in it. I think he's doing a great job of it, and hopefully he pulls the right rein. I mean, most people think he should be going for the Newmarket. Of course, it's a Group 1 down the straight, and she gets better weight swing against the best mare in the land. But yeah, I mean, guys, come on. If you're going to have a pot at someone, just have a pot at the big jurisdictions. They're the ones that makes the call, and Chris is just taking advantage of it.
No, it's a good call, and they're entitled to do that. And things can go wrong. Floats break down. All sorts of things can happen. Jimmy Starr was similar camp this week. Flemington and Newcastle and opted for there. So, no, it's a good call.
Did Twitter have a meltdown? I didn't see much of it. I haven't been on Twitter much this week.
Well, that'd be why you didn't see much of it, mate.
Well, but did they?
You've actually got to be on Twitter.
I'm asking, did they?
Well, did I not just have an argument about the Twitter meltdown?
What
do you think I'm lying?
Give me some examples.
Are you calling me out for lying?
Name some names.
Questioning his integrity, Twitter viewing integrity.
Oh,
jeez.
We've all been...
Hasn't that been a space this week?
There was a few there. There was Chris had an interview about a pre-race runner he had yesterday, and there was the question asked, and he said, "No, we still don't know what we're going to do. We're going to wait and see till the end of the day. There's a few people still looking at things." And he said, "But we'll know by the end of the day because she's got to be on the truck to Sydney if she's going to be running in Sydney." So there wasn't long to wait, but people were pretty quick to pile on and say, "Come on, Chris, give us something."
I'd like It's almost an interesting point to make around betting. I mean, it's obviously betting because betting markets open Wednesday afternoon. I'd almost like and prefer betting markets open at 9 o'clock on a Saturday for Saturday races and just all in. If they make mistakes, you
100%
jump on.
Make doing this pretty tough.
That'd put me out of
work. Don't be careful what you wish for there, Tom. Hey, and Reece, great to see you bought something. I mean, it's 4 weeks into the season plus 2 seasons as well where you haven't bought anything.
I was going to say, don't expect another one.
Yeah. Oh, you've had a bit of time to think about it. Tommy, what do you got for us?
So my little filly that I'm involved in had a jump out at Pakenham on Monday, Tuesday. Was it Monday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. It was Tuesday. Had no idea what colours it was. Couldn't see. Reece was filming on his Nokia. We keep harping on this. The wrong colours. A horse that went backwards. I called Reece.
I've caught more abuse from Tom. This is twice in a week.
Was this a case of mistaken identity?
He goes, what have you done to our horse? It was in reverse. And I said, you're watching the wrong one, Tom. So then he's taking it out on everyone else.
The one in Reece's colours was going reverse, but he's got one in fluoro yellow that wins.
In all seriousness, the only horses I can differentiate between at Pakenham are the Moody Coleman runners because they've got nose rolls. And it is, you're right, there's no colours, as I said, and I know it is broken record areas, but spot on, Tom.
Fix it. Another one, I don't know if you guys have noticed, I don't know what it's like at Pakenham or wherever you live. Out there, crickets. Anyone notice crickets in Melbourne? There's a plague.
Oh, as in
not the cricket.
Yeah,
I wrote cricket here.
I know, and you say something about cricket every week, but yeah. So
crickets.
Being from Hobart, I'm very familiar with cricket.
So there's a plague.
Stomp on them on the ground.
There's a plague at the moment, and I woke up at 3:30 a.m. There's a cricket making noise in my bedroom, on level 7 of an apartment building. How on earth a cricket gets up to level 7 and wakes me up at 3:30 in the morning? I'm filthy.
I really hope someone's done this on purpose. That'd have been all time.
I'm getting floor 7 fumigated.
That'd be great.
That's cooked.
I'm sending children orders in adult orders packing. So every week, Tom Haylock. There's many things I can say negatively about Tom, but there's one big positive, and he always gets the coffees, and he always offers to get the coffees ahead of layback. And if you want to put in a children's order and get a hot chocolate Reece Goodwin, you need to go about sourcing that yourself.
I ate the marshmallow.
You may as well request a baby chino. That is the sort of level we're operating on here. So hot chockies for adults.
Hot chocolates. You ordered the caramel. Was it caramel latte?
Well, I was going to say, I think I copped it for a skinny caramel latte too. Yeah. So I think I'm just going to stop ordering coffees.
If you're away on a romantic weekend in Tassie in the snow at Cradle Mountain and it's 3 degrees, you can have your hot cup of cocoa all day. But don't be getting that at 12 o'clock on a Thursday in the adults order.
Not bad at the footy at Ballarat.
It's 12 o'clock on a Thursday because it's taken us that long to get going here.
We're going to move on. We're going to get into the racing. There's so much to dissect, and we're going to kick things off at Flemington. Rails plus 4 metres the entire circuit. It's going to be hot. It's down to 8 races already from the 10. One's going to be run at the Valley, the other on Monday as well. So we've got 8 races. Looks to be a strong northerly, Tommy, which could affect leaders across the day in the circle races.
What time are we kicking off? Is it confirmed?
It's 12:15 at the moment. It's not confirmed yet. They will confirm, I believe, tomorrow.
Friday.
They'll make Friday will be the confirmation of time. So it could be race 1 could be in sort of 10 o'clock areas.
Could be 20 degrees too, knowing bomb. So who knows? Firm track. I'm fascinated by this track because they're going to have to pour a lot of water on it. They might be running on a soft 5 come race 1.
Liam O'Keefe said that. He said that we're going to want it to race almost in the soft range in the first couple of races. Predicting that the extreme heat and the weather will dry it out across the course of the day and likely get to a good 3 later in the card.
Yeah, so soft 5 race 1 and Nepean Highway race 8. It's going to be interesting. The wind, a lot of people think it'll favour those on speed being a rock hard track, which is fair enough, but the wind actually probably favours those making ground, so probably balances out. I think it'll play okay. You see the southerlies favour those on speed, so interesting to follow, and fascinated by how the track plays with it drying so quick throughout the day.
Yep, let's kick things off in race number 4, which is the Group 2 VRC Sires Produce Stakes for the 2-year-olds over 1,400 metres. There's some interesting form lines here. You've got some Blue Diamond runners coming back against others of the likes of Aardvark that look to be quite progressive as well. How are you assessing the speed in this race, Tommy?
Yeah, well, who leads? Just stay focused, roll forward. She smashes out wide, evaporates a bit of speed. It's an interesting one. I don't have a huge opinion of the race. I want to ask Reece about horses obviously coming off grand finals potentially, and is that a thing? Is that a concern, Reece? They're coming off the Blue Diamond?
Yep, absolutely. I'm quite keen to go around, stay focused. They've done a terrific job with him, don't get me wrong, but he's actually been up for quite some time. If you go back and go through his jump outs, he's had little breaks here and there, but he hasn't had a proper spell. And I felt they'd done just a terrific job to get him to the Blue Diamond, and he performed very well with what was a tough run. But I'm probably keen to avoid him at this price against a couple of these horses that are probably more set for this type of race over 1400. I think Ruta Royale, obviously eye-catching run in the Blue Diamond. It was hard to miss that. Blake Shin goes on. It's drawn a lower barrier. They're going to be a lot closer in the run. Art of Arc, I really like that Damien Lane's sticking with this horse. I think he's identified as a pretty nice colt. He's trialled again since he's win up the straight, and I think he's been aimed for this type of race. So they're the two I'm working around, and I'm pretty keen to take on Stay Focused. And I guess Traffic Warden, probably the other one out of the Blue Diamond that didn't have a lot of luck, but probably going to get a mile back from 16, but wouldn't shock if they can run on. The other thing you've got to consider is there doesn't look a lot of speed in this, but with a lot of unknowns of 2-year-olds up to 1400, all of a sudden you could be in a very fast run 2-year-old race, which is I like because it's going to show which horses run a true 1400. So it's quite an interesting race, and obviously going to be pretty tough to, I think, find the winner, and that's why I was keen to avoid Stay Focused.
I'm more inclined to agree with you, being against Stay Focused at that price, and Traffic Warden's a horse of interest for me. I wish drew better than 17.
Yep, I'm also against Stay Focused and the Blue Diamond form in many respects, just because grand finals, 2-year-olds, arduous preparations. Yeah, like, you know, there's only a handful of runs or 3 runs in there, but
it's a lot for a 2-year-old.
The preparation and how long they've been up for. You had that gap between the Geelong run and then the Prelude, was it?
Yep.
Yeah. So, look, Aardvark for me, number 4, rises 1100 to 1400 metres. It just looks a colt with plenty of improvement still to come. His tick over jump out between runs was excellent as well, and up to 1400 metres. No, I don't think there's a query there. And look, Damien Lane's looking to make 3 VRC Sires Produce Stakes on the trot with V8 and Let's Roll the Dice in previous years. So I think Aardvark can get the job done at some value there at $7. Race number 5. Well, we didn't have to wait long to get involved with the big boy on the card, did we? In the Group 1 Newmarket Handicap over 1,200 metres. In Secret won the race last year. What a fantastic story that was for Dean Holland. 2022 Rockin' Horse won as well, and another. That was an incredible story, wasn't it, for Paddy Maloney, and in 2021 Zutori for the Elliott and Zara team. So there's been some storylines, hasn't there, around this race in previous years. I'm really keen to dissect this one with you too, and understand where you want to play. The big, and we just love this for racing, Imperatriz electing to come to the Newmarket over the Canterbury Stakes, carrying top weight 58 kilos as a mare. Geez, it's mouth-watering, isn't it?
Oh, it would have been so much better if Espiona was here. I think racing's probably worse off for Espiona not running here and running in the Canterbury. I think we're all against Imperatriz here, aren't we? It's amazing. Speed is really interesting. Before we do that, I can't remember a big field Group 1 feature sprint race with less speed on paper.
Yeah.
I've got no idea who leads.
And particularly in a straight line, that generally
it makes it even worse.
Speed,
yeah. So Imperatriz, roll forward again, SQF, Benedetta, Master Fay, maybe. There's not much speed in the race, which is scary if you're keen to back like Buenos Noches and
it's the parts of the track too, isn't it? So Imperatriz drawn 3, and then any of the others that may lead, like Cylinder, the 3-year-old with 52, well, it's drawn 13.
Yeah.
So
the astrologist is out there too.
They're different parts of the track. So, again, we're probably likely to see a split in this sort of race. I remember, looking at the Rockin' Horse, I doubt they'll split. And then the first race they go bang, and it might only be a small pocket, and the fence was on. It was only 4 horses that took that avenue, and 3 of them were the first ones home. So tactics are a huge part in these straight races.
Yeah, you know what annoys me? Not for the lay-bin. Do they notify, if there's a field of 5 or 6 in the straight, do they notify you how far they put the barriers out? You draw barrier 1 and you end up in lane 15.
They're just in the middle of the track, the barriers.
They focus and they go.
So this has been a talking point for a little while is back in the day, the gates used to be starting as they normally would around the corner. They'd start from the inside fence out, but now they start smack bang in the middle.
So they come down the middle a lot more than they used to, probably because
of that reason.
And there's no rail to follow for some time, though, is there?
What do you reckon? There's no rail at all?
Yeah, there is. They just got to duck back to the fence.
That's what
the track proper.
That's what we're saying. Like that's what the barriers are put in the middle of the track, so everyone just sort of jumps and stays their lane predominantly. If not, generally they go to the outside fence. So
which probably doesn't help the speed of these sprint races either, because they all just lob and end up running in a straight line from where they jump. Let's get to form. I'm against Imperatriz at the price. I know she's a star, but she does have to carry a big weight here. I'm still not convinced her best is down the straight. That might be silly because...
No, I'm with you.
You with like she did beat Buenos Noches in secret in that sprint race, but by half a length. She was flying. I don't think she's come back as well. She had every possible chance first up down the straight. They went very, very slowly there. Not much made ground. I was very keen Espiona to turn the tables in Imperatriz. She's going to Sydney. We'll touch on that race later. 3 horses of interest for me. Magic Time on top. Won a Rupert Clark like a serious horse. Has won 7 of 10. I've got a massive opinion of her. She's won at Flemington but not down the straight, and her rating with the 53 kilos says she's right in this race. She's drawn the middle. I'm very keen on her. I think she'll be running very well. Buenos Noches barrier trial first up, 9.8 lengths off the lead at the 400 there, and only beaten 1.4. Loves the straight. He's the best straight horse in the country almost, and he can improve. Blinkers On's interest for him. Can he be closer there and run right in? The other one that's trialled really nicely that I'm very wary of for a couple of reasons is Ruthless Dame. Now, she gets lane on and synthetic hoof filler off first time, and she's had a bit of
right.
Huh?
Got her feet right.
Got her feet right. Kieran Maher, we saw him in the Group 1 last week. Around this price range, lane book, big positive for me. If they've got her feet right, she's right in the mix.
And she's going to be right near the good mare from Gate 2 as well.
Correct. So she might be stalking and run a drum. So I'm keen on 3, 5, 6, 3 Buenos Noches, Ruthless Day, Magic Time, mate, on top of there.
So how are you betting?
Magic Time's my primary bet. I'll probably save or slightly small profit on Buenos Noches, not much. So if he knocks me off, I'll break even on the race or slightly small profit, and then Ruthless Dame's an easy bet at $19, so you probably get 25s Betfair and follow the market as well if there's money for her. So yeah, Tommy 2 play with a save on Buenos Noches.
Yep. Bruce?
It's interesting how much we're going to go against this mare just because of weight, because
that's just a price.
We're price and weight, but if she was a couple of kilos lighter and she's on level weights, well then we start thinking seriously about her, because I was heavily against her first up. I was laying, and I ended up with egg in my face. She proved me wrong.
Did you? I wouldn't say that was a bad bet.
No, it wasn't a bad bet, but look, she won. The concern I now have is all the talk before the first up run was about the jump out, and they said she didn't perform well because it was a hot day the day before, and that was the reason behind it. Now we've got a pretty warm day today. Got a pretty warm day tomorrow as well. Obviously not as warm as Saturday, and then she's into a very hot day Saturday. So if heat's any concern, she's not going to be in her element, I wouldn't feel. She's got to carry the big weight, and I also still firmly believe she hasn't come back as good this prep.
Yep.
I thought she was maybe entitled to win by further the way the race was run first up.
Espiona a better run than her?
Well, yeah, to the eye, absolutely it was.
And the data,
but Espiona, I mean, she's done that plenty of times in her life too. She's always been the run of the day type of thing, but she's starting to win a bit more now. I'm going with an old favourite one, Bella Nipotina. Now, I like the time of the race being a little bit earlier in the day, because if we are going to start at that soft 5, it's just going to have a bit of jar out of the ground, which we know she likes quite a bit. She was 0.9 behind her first up. They get to 1200. She's drawn 4. She should be right on the back of her, or if not, right beside her. And I think at an each-way play, you can't go wrong with Bella Nipotina at least a place. Maybe a 1x3 play with her. She is incredibly consistent. She knocked them over in Sydney last prep when she was underdog there. And I think if Imperatriz isn't at her best with the bigger weight, I think she can bridge that 0.9 margin. So I'm having something each way on her, and I'm actually going to have a small play. It's Our Time. Brilliant straight track horse. I think he's had 14 runs at Flemington up the straight, and he's been in the top 3 9 times. Don't get me wrong, he's probably only a Group 2 at best, maybe Group 3 horse. Again, drawn down on the inside, so there's a few that I like down on the inside. I hope the track's playing well, but he's going to be so many of those horses that are going to be hopefully right at the finish, and I think you can do worse than having something each way on him at 70 to 1.
if there's jar out of the ground by race 5, they've put the Maribin on it, I reckon. So,
what time currently is that race meant to be? 2 o'clock?
Yeah, around there.
2:05. Yeah.
It just really depends on this schedule, doesn't it? On
I just feel as though it won't. I got a feeling it won't be as concrete as it was going to be.
Yeah,
obviously later in the day.
Start times will obviously depend how much they irrigate
That's
as well.
right, yeah.
So that'll be interesting. Hey, I'm going on a Tommy 2-bet play in this race, and as you guys said, I'm betting around Imperatrice for all the reasons you've mentioned. When the stable comes out and says this horse doesn't like the heat, then that's a bit of a red flag when you're carrying a lot more weight than these other competitors. And look, she's the best sprinter in the world, but she's as vulnerable as she's ever going to be in this handicap this weekend. I've got on top at the price Benedetta. Comes through the Oakley Plate, and I didn't think I'd be saying, I'm going to take the Oakley Plate form into the Newmarket, but if you look at Benedetta's run in isolation, it was very good. She was held up, locked for runs at the 400, and she was really hot through the line. She ran the third fastest last 200 of the race, but from the 100 to past the post, she was humming, and that is a really nice Newmarket trial for a mare that's down in the weights.
Just another sick beat for me.
Yeah.
Backed her to place heavily each way.
It's just all about Tom, unfortunately.
And you'd argue she's going to be better at 1200.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you go back to her run this time last year in the English Sprint down the straight, it was devastating. That's her career peak figure. If I know it's 12 months between drinks there, if we're talking those sort of figures, but she can repeat that. She's just up to her eyeballs in this at around $20. So
I obviously like her. I'm just a little bit concerned. You go back to the spring, like she beat William Thomas by 0.3. She beat she ran third to Star Patrol and King of Sparta. I don't think they're...
Yeah, the ones in behind her don't jump off the page.
Yeah. She beat them at least.
Well, she didn't beat Star Patrol and King of Sparta, who were good horses in their own right and good straight horses. Star Patrol was flying, but I don't know.
She beat William Thomas.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
My other bet is going to be Buenos Noches as well. He got a long way back in that expressway. I don't know, Nash copped a bit of flack for the ride.
Circumstances, yeah.
When Malkovich sets up a speed like that, you've got this runner first up, Group 2. He's not going to giga kick him. He's not going to give him a gut buster first up and go chasing too early.
He could have been 2 or 3 lengths closer, but he would have been 3 deep with no cover.
Yeah,
so he'd come back, got a drag into it.
Can't win.
Finished off beautifully. Got home, race fastest last 4 and 200. Jump out between runs, straight, excellent. Blinkers go on first time. Tommy, you said you think he's the best straight tracker in Australia. Big call. So Buenos Noches, Benedetta, big result for me. Imperatrice is my third. Elect Magic Time's my fourth. I'll be playing some exotics in this race as well. But yeah, Benedetta and Buenos Noches for me. Any other final thoughts on the Newmarket before we move on?
No.
Not for me.
I just wanted to, quickly, are we laying Imperatrice? Or
No.
I will.
You're laying her?
Yep.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I probably won't lay her just because she's scary, but obviously you can do that a bit better.
As we just said, if this is probably the most vulnerable she's going to be. Handicaps,
Just from
really hot day.
From a strategy point of view, there's so much more value around on who could beat her at the bigger prices than as opposed to laying her. I feel the backing's a better strategy for me.
If she wins Saturday, well, how else are they going to beat her after that?
Yeah, exactly.
Realistically,
This field aren't going to beat her again.
Yeah.
They won't. Race 6 is the Group 2 Kewney Stakes for the 3-year-old fillies over 1,600 metres. Revolutionary Miss won the race last year, Barb Raider in 2022, and Starrell won it in 2021. From a speed perspective here, Tommy, how's the race set up?
Yeah, Grinzinger Bell just shoots across from barrier 12. Damien Lane won last start, adopting those tactics, has speed. Sassy Boom works across as well. And then from out wide, so you got those two. Then you got Sarasana drawn handy. Basilina and Misled handy as well from barrier 2. So I think that's the speed. Obviously, Grinzinger Bell held on last start. I don't think she can do that here. I'm pretty bullish on this race, to be honest, footy, and I'm leaning to Autumn Angel. Moody Coleman hold the key in this. They got 2 favourites. They could be the same horse, these two. They're both 3-year-old fillies. They both wear blue and white. They both had 2 wins and a second from 6 starts. I've never seen them in the same room.
Do you reckon they'll saddle up the right horse?
They could be the same horse. I've never said they haven't been in the same race.
I successfully laid them in the lay streak week
I
back
know.
to back as well.
I know.
After average jump outs and then good, solid enough first up performances. No.
And they're both second up,
Bit of me
coming
time.
both second up to 1,600 metres, coming off being snagged back 1,400 metres. Like, they're almost identical, these two. They've drawn 5 and 6. I'm with Autumn Angel. I love the run last time.
Big jockey booking too.
Big jockey booking. They weren't there to win last start. That was evident. Had a lot of improvement to come. Dropped out back. Loved the last 100 to 50 metres. That was enormous by Autumn Angel. I think she might still be better at 1800, 2000 next couple of starts, but she made Sassy Bloom and So Glamorous 2.5 kilos better at the weights. Love that run, as I said. They're here to win now. Drawn well. Molly Knickers is a danger. I'll probably save. And if I look away, all this form's intertwined, so I went looking for one that brings completely different form, and that's Into You for Shay Keating. Huge win at Sandown last time, so I don't want to lose if Into You wins. Beat a horse that was through the CSAs by 5.1 lengths, so smashed.
Ponte Brute.
Yeah, smashed him. So, yeah, it's a little one from left field. Into You. I don't want to lose.
Steep rise, isn't it?
It is, but it's also a lot of these fillies are intertwined and been running against each other for so long. So, if the form's actually not that good, and they've all been probably run on leader bias tracks as well, been pretty hard to make ground in the two lead ups, the Vanity and the Armanasco. So, Autumn Angel for me, Molly Knickers and Into You. I won't be losing if they win. I think they're the only three winning chances, in my opinion.
Beautiful. Pretty stock standard 3-odd fillies race, very open. I think there's plenty of chances here. I think the only two you could probably rule out of the bottom two, in my opinion. I'm going to spec one at a big price. Basilina. You've got to watch the replay from her first up. She probably wants further than a mile now, but a couple of these might too. She's got a soft draw. If she has any luck this time, she will be thundering through the line, and she can run at least a place at a big price. Thing I like the most is Blake Shin's been with her the whole way through. And on paper it probably looks a touch disappointing first up, but she was strung up a number of times, never got to build momentum. In the last 100 she finally got through her gears, and she was great through the line.
Tough day to make ground.
Yeah, and she was brilliant. You just have to watch it, and then if you do, you go, yep, there's no doubt, 1600 tick, maybe even further before she does win, but I think she can run really well. And outside of that, I think there's a heap of chances. I actually don't mind Grinzinger Bell. I thought it was a good effort for her to hang on. I know when you watch it, you go, well, there's a few that we're going to get her not long after the line, but she did a bit of work early. Damien Lane's so good on these horses, rating them in front, and there's no reason why he can't get away with rating her well again and pinch a break. So, open race, and I hope Basilina at least runs a place for us.
Yep, I've got a back and a lay strategy here. I'm going to be siding with Sarasana. I'll be backing her as a 1x3 proposition. I feel like she's the forgotten horse out of the Angus Armanasco. Everyone wants to talk about the likes of So Glamorous and these hard luck stories from the back. Well, she covered ground 3 wide, and she was really gutsy first up, held on for third. She's going to strip fitter for that second up. And if you look at her win last prep over a mile, Sandown Guineas, that a repeat of that wins this race. So that was an enormous win. So I feel Johnny Allen can find a spot here just with a little bit of cover up on the speed and from barrier 7. I feel she's going to be really hard to hold out. And I'm taking a set against Grinzinger Bell here, and I'm going to lay her to place. So she's around $6 and $2, so I'm going to lay the place. She looks the key speed influence. Wide barrier, has to push forward. 30 to 40 kilometre gusts on the day for these circle races. Going to have to be pretty good to hold on again with those conditions against you. I think there's better horses in the back of the field. I'd have the likes of Autumn Angel, Molly Knickers, obviously Sarasana, and also the Into You. I'd have ahead of her, just given those map favours. So I'm going to lay Grinzinger Bell to place.
How do you feel, mate? Taking some of that bet?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're feeling it's a tough day for leaders on Saturday?
That's how I'm setting up. So that's where I've put my flag into the ground, and if I'm wrong, then I'm going to cop it, because I've got to repeat this on about 5 different shows over the next 2 days. So sometimes you just got to live and die by the sword.
Don't you? Change your opinion. You'll have different listeners.
Yeah,
you might be
Someone think you're a genius.
You might be right on some station.
I think Mum listens to them all, so she'll know. Let's move on. Race number 7, the Group 3 Shaftesbury Avenue Handicap, 1400 metres. It's been a bit of a race for the Raiders, this one, boys. So 2023, Scolopini won it for the O'Day Hoisted team. Kiss on All 4 Cheeks won it in 2022, and Morvada, the SA Raider, in 2021. So perhaps a local hope here. I found this a hard race to find an edge in. There's the interesting runner in Berkshire Shadow, who's first up. cop this. No Wolverhampton here, buddy. It's going to be 39 degrees for the UK import. You've got Amenable returning as well, Tommy. I'll let you talk about the map and who you rate as the key chances.
Yeah, I'm actually, if Berkshire Shadow wasn't in this race, I'll be declaring one here.
He could be a great yard watch, Berkshire Shadow.
Yeah, it could melt up.
Yeah.
Speed, I've got Savannah Cloud leading. Wild Planet rolls forward, was forward in a recent Rose Hill trial. Amenable's the map horse, just gets a perfect run. They'll cross. Now, this Amenable's been gelded. Jumping from the barriers a lot better since being gelded and led in its recent trial, so shown a bit of speed. I think he's the map horse now. Damien Lane on, they won't be far away at all. I wouldn't be surprised if they find the lead early. Savannah Cloud maybe crosses, Wild Planet follows that across, and you just get the perfect run in transit. Berkshire Shadow's a massive watch. Trials were okay, or jump outs are okay, but a huge query with these UK horses coming over here on a 38-degree day. 2 of his 4 career wins have come on synthetic tracks, and now he's got to probably bring a good 3 windy, hot day, first up, fresh in Australia off a huge break. If he wins, I'll probably just cop it. And just put my hands up and say, well, I got that wrong. But pretty keen, Amenable here. Love the jump out win. Beat Pinstripe there by a big margin. Looked a better horse than Pinstripe in that jump out. Comes here, blinkers off, but importantly gelded, as I mentioned, carrying less weight than he did last campaign. This horse, so ready to go first up, and he won first up last campaign anyway. I think he's flying. I think he maps perfectly, and I think he's a horse to beat. You'd be surprised I'm also having something Von Hawk. Comes off a benchmark 80, running 7th over 1100. Now up to 1400 metre Group 3.
Something we don't know, Tom?
Oh, I just know he's
placed it.
I just know he's a very good horse, and I'm confident of that. He could not have done any more last start. They went incredibly slowly early. 7.3 lengths slower the first 300 metres of the race there. He ended up well back, which was the plan, over 1100 metres. They've sprinted home superbly. He's run the second fastest final 600 of the meeting, the third fastest final 200. He was out wide on that track where nothing made ground the whole day, off a really slow tempo. I think he draws well, gets the card to settle midfield for Craig Williams. I know Lane jumps off and rides Amenable. But I just think he's a good horse, and what I liked about him there first up, he did a bit wrong early in that race, but he settled much better after the first couple of 100 metres, and that's been the key to him, and that's why they ran him over 1100 metres first up, to get him to settle. We have not seen the best of him, but he's got stacks of ability, so I'm saving or having something on him as well.
10 career starts, and he's only missed the money 3 times. You can certainly see that case that you've mounted there, Tommy, is a good one. I'm staying out of this, can't find an angle. Reece?
Yeah, really keen Amenable. He'll be best of the weekend for me. I think it's a terrific setup. He's had the ultimate gear change. His trials have been super. The map's probably the biggest thing. He's got the 2 speed horses drawn either side of him. Damien Lane will be able to dictate. Obviously, Savannah Cloud's probably going to look to lead, and then the other one will have to press on, and he should get the 1-1 run. He's going to get cover from that breeze that we've just spoken about. He's a better horse than these. I understand Berkshire Shadow is probably the one you've got to keep an eye on, but I'm pretty keen to take him on at $3.20, first run from overseas. Mark Zara spoke yesterday after he won a race at Sandown and said he's likes the horse and thinks he'll be very competitive, but I think he's definitely going to improve out of it, and it's very typical of the Mars stable for them to improve. Mick Price, Kent Jr., their horses are ready to go first up too. I think they'll want to make amends for this horse. He probably should have not won a Group 1, but he should have been probably aiming for better races than this, I feel, this prep. So I think he'll hit back hard, and I think he'd even go on with it from the weekend. I think he'll win well, so really keen on him.
I agree. I like what Mick Kent said to me this morning. Comes in less weight. He's carrying less condition now that he's gelded. So I don't know, do you see that with gelding operations?
Yeah, well, that's a part of it too, and that's why you've got to be careful with colts and stallions, what you do with them, because they carry a lot more weight. So not only do you have to worry about them carrying on like colts, you have to worry about how much work you do with them and how much you feed them, because they carry extra weight as it is. So that's exactly why it's an ultimate gear change, because it changes a lot of aspects in a horse. And that's why we see it deliver so well sometimes.
Making amensable was the belief your statement there, Reece. Don't mind it. Let's move on to race 8, the last race on the card at Flemington. It's the Group 3 Matron Stakes, set weights and penalties for the mares. Cyril Miss won the race last year, Flying Mascot in 2022, Sovereign Award in 2021. From a speed perspective here, Tommy, Arail looks to be the key leader from one Unusual Culture and running by, and then the rest look to be fighting it out for for the back.
Typical mares race to finish. We got the same at Randwick on Saturday as well. So, it's a good race, as you mentioned. Aral just leads for fun. There's not a lot of speed here. It's a competitive race. I'm keen to be against Eternal Flame. One of my lays of the day. Hasn't had much luck in the last couple, but she's becoming a bit costly now, and she needs things to go away. She's drawn awfully here in 11. I know she's got Lane on, who likes to be more positive, but I don't know what they do. Do they go back to last year again? Got to come wide. The way the track's playing on the day is going to be key to how I play this, but we're coming to you Thursday. I'll be against her. I think Foxy Frida can beat her home again. Beat her 2 starts ago. Ran the fastest late sectionals in that Trust Day. Came for well back there. As I said, it was a day that was hard to make ground. Revolutionary Missus come out and won again. Slow tempo may not suit. I know she's also drawn wide, but I've got Foxy Frida in the mix, and Unusual Culture's the other one. It's not a race I'm too keen to play in, but Eternal Flame I just think's too short for me.
Yeah, look, I'm basically identical to you. There's probably 2 reliable mares in this, I feel. There's Unusual Culture and Foxy Frida. I'm probably not keen to bet because I'm just not sure where they're going to get to in the run. Could be a little bit tricky, and we probably want to see how the track's playing. But I think either of those you could probably be with, and you could probably get a winning result. Unusual Culture, she's going to go back. If they are running on, obviously she's going to get a chance. She gets D-laned on. So there's a few positives there, but as you know, she's getting quite costly. Foxy Cleopatra back in trip. I like that. She bombed the start and then overdid it back on the fence at Caulfield. If you watch the run, she makes a really good run to them and then completely blows out of steam because she does things wrong. She's definitely got the ability, but you want to see her do a few things wrong. And again, I think Blake Shin's in the opinion that she is the right horse for this type of race, and that's why he's sticking with her, but you probably want to see her do it right first. So don't think I'll be betting into it much. Running By is going to get the plum run again, but I think she's probably exposed at this type of level against these mares. She's been in good form and winning up through the grades, but I think she's going to need a dead set great ride to beat some of these mares. So I'd be following the top 2 and just see how the track's playing at the time, and maybe even a bet in run, whatever's probably getting the best run out of the 2. I think I'd be keen to follow.
Yep, I'm with Foxy Frida as well, boys, and against Eternal Flame. I like what you said about Eternal Flame. I also think just another point is I don't know how much more improvement there is to come from her this preparation. She's been pretty consistent in terms of the ratings she's been spitting out. Just going up in trip, I'm not sure that's going to improve her if it's just deeper into her preparation, and it's come quickly for her because she's lightly raced as well. So Foxy Frida for me on top. I think 1600 metres is her trip.
Yeah, and I'm got that question mark 1600 Eternal Flame. It has to come wide and loop the field. If I was riding for luck, or if I was riding this horse, I'd almost ride it for luck to get the 1600 metres.
That'd be something to see.
Up the inside.
You ride horse.
I like Foxy Frida's second up profile too. Yep. So on Caulfield Guineas Day, she was in the Ladies' Day Vase, the race that was won by Wishlaw Lass, and she drew 1 that day and was disadvantaged to draw inside on that day with the wind at Caulfield, and she actually ran super. She ran 3rd behind Wishlaw Lass and Barbie's Fox. So she then went on
Wishlaw Lass too.
Surprised
he hasn't dropped that.
Got her in.
It still exists.
She then went
if
on.
we can have a show where he doesn't mention her.
He didn't mention Scripper though.
Yeah, we'll get her on the wall soon. She then went on to win the Inglis Bracelet that preparation, this track and trip. I'm not too concerned about the barrier draw here. She's going to be tucked away. She's going to be out of the. She's going to get the conditions to suit from an environment point of view. So Foxy Frida for me in the 8th. Boys, before we head to Randwick, we've got to of course go to what caught my eye. And I think Reece is taking it away this week, which is scary. He's brought 2 things to the table.
What is happening here,
Reece?
Reece?
What's caught your eye?
Robbo. Great Robbo off what's the show he does
360?
with 360 with Jerry Waitley. So they're having a conversation with the great Toby Green, and he's introduced a new child into his life. So congratulations to Toby and Jared. Sorry, I'm going well, aren't I? I'm going to be
the irony of this caught my eye. It's too good.
Jared introduces Toby's newborn child as Isla, and Robbo straight after that goes, "Can you pronounce her name to us? Is it Isla?" And then Toby obviously corrects him and goes, no, it's Isla. And the best part about this
It's like
is...
he'd never seen the name before.
No, it completely rattled
Not
him.
that uncommon, is it?
Well, this is the thing I'm about to follow up
not
with.
an Island.
Australia's top girls' names for 2021. Number 1 was Isla.
There you go. Good
So
research from you.
A couple of
That's-
years
that's
ago,
very good.
it was the top name for girls in 2021, and he happened to have not heard of it.
I'm actually from Tasmania. It's a small island just south of Victoria. No, that's a very good caught my eye. Thank you, Reece. Let's move into Randwick now. Get this show rolling along. Terrific meeting in Sydney, and another hot day. 29 degrees again. Rails +3 the entire circuit. We've got a couple of Group 1s on the card as well, Tommy. Expectations, track patterns.
Yeah, I think the track will play well with that rail position. So I'm expecting a fair position. What is it? It's 4 metres? 3 metres.
Yep.
Yeah, so I see no issue to jump away from a normal track with no particular bias, and looking forward to getting stuck into the form.
Yeah, we're going to kick off in race 5, which is the Group 2 Todman Stakes for the 2-year-old boys, 1,200 metres. Cylinder won the race last year, Sajardin in 2022 and Animo in 2021. A pretty nice honour roll there. And look, this looks at a strong addition again at the top of this race, doesn't it? You got the likes of Straight Charge, Switzerland, Espionage and Bodyguard. They head the market in that order. And the speed, Tommy, Straight Charge, Shangri-La Express.
Yeah, Waterhouse with 3. So Straight Charge and Shangri-La Express drawn inside 2 barriers. I think they'll kick up for sure. Espionage camped off Straight Charge last campaign. Probably does that again, or I don't know where Espionage gets to from that wide draw. So it's interesting. This was always going to be a strong race because Stormboy ran last week and scared them all off. This is the natural lead up fortnight into the slipper, so it's a great race. Of the 3 Waterhouse runners, I've got Espionage turning the tables on Straight Charge. I think that was a real play on Straight Charge. They knew that was a horse to win. Espionage was really strong late, fought back on the line, had more improvement from the yard to come, in my opinion. And then you got Switzerland, who I think's right up there with Stormboy, probably deserved second favourite. So it's a great race. I'm not too keen to get involved.
Yeah, look, I don't know a whole lot. I just want to ask you what you think of Bodyguard.
Yeah, good horse. I don't think it's the right form for...
Well, yeah, we're laying Stay Focus and the produce,
Yeah.
and he's only just got past him. But would it shock you to see him right in the finish? Like, he's 2 from 2. You know, he might have had improvement from his first up run. He was obviously well fancied in a diamond. Do you just think... are you completely disregarding him, or...?
I am, because you need opinions. But you know how I go about my form. A lot of times I actually look for horses
something
from
outside
different,
of the intertwined form.
intertwined form. So he does bring that, but I don't think he can stack up against Switzerland.
So he's no chance of troubling them in a slipper, basically.
I don't think so.
Yep.
But I've been wrong before.
Yep.
Have you?
No, not very rarely.
I'm with you. I think I'm with you, Tom. Around, I believe Espionage can turn the tables on Straight Charge from the silver slipper. Just did a little bit wrong. Was a little bit keen early stages, but was taking ground off Straight Charge late. But again, Switzerland, how good Switzerland going to be? We really need someone to step up and stamp themselves to make the Golden Slippers are already very interesting. Like, I love the race, but I want someone to jump out of the ground in this race.
Put their hand
for
up.
us to maybe even get a price about Stormboy.
If Switzerland, he's the horse that can do that. He's undefeated, as you mentioned. He's drawn perfectly again. Barrier 4.
Is there any scenario where the 2 Waterhouses from 1 and 2 dead set race themselves, and Switzerland's the one that's got the drop on them?
Well, Switzerland has a drop. I don't want race themselves.
No, but I know they won't want to. But we're talking about 2-year-olds.
Yeah, I
Both
get
of
that.
them have led their last start. They've now got to take one of them's got to take a sit, doesn't it? And you'd assume the one from 2.
Well, I just think Straight Charge kicks up and Shangri-La sits outside it.
How many times has Shangri-La sat outside speed?
Oh, it's only had 3
Don't
stars.
rule out
mate.
Espionage
No, I'm just
having
saying
a sit on him as well.
that's what I'm saying. There's 2-year-olds.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unknowns where it wouldn't be the first time two 2-year-olds that have previously led in their starts of 4 have now all of a sudden taken each other on because they don't know much difference. That's all I'm saying. Like,
Yep, for sure.
Let's move on to race number 6 now, the Group 2 Challenge Stakes, weight for age 1,000 metres, passive aggressive, won the race last year, Lob's here again, Eduardo won the 2 editions prior to that. It's a small field and it's an intriguing edition because you got the likes of Private Eye, who is favourite in the market, remains at the 1,000 after just going under to Imperatriz in the Lightning Stakes. You've got some very interesting runners. Like first up, Aft Cabin. You've got Marzu, who's kicking off one of the best tried horse trainers in the business, particularly around sprinters with Joe Pride. Remark was good in this race last year, and this on paper looks a touch inferior to last year's edition. Passive Aggressive won the race last year. How well is she going? Can she, is she trustworthy enough to take here at the price? So lots of angles you could take in this race. How are you seeing it, Tommy?
It's a fascinating race, one of the most exciting races on the day in my book, so I'm really, really looking forward to seeing this. If Imperatriz comes out and wins the Newmarket, do they come for Private Eye on the back of that? The more I looked, I've changed my opinion several times in this race. I really wanted to go with Aft Cabin here, but 1,000 metres conceding ground probably ends up near last, the fence here in a small field. Better 1,200 metre horse. I think the two best horses are Aft Cabin and Private Eye, in my opinion. And Aft Cabin's not proven yet, but can definitely get to that level, in my opinion. Private Eye clearly has the ratings to say he's the best horse in this race. But they're both better over further, in my opinion. Private Eye hasn't won over 1,000 metres. I know it was very good last start, but they walked there, had every possible chance. He's just the best horse on ratings and proven, and in so well at the weights. Private Eye, I don't want to be against him, so I've ended up having him on top. Aft Cabin's the concern where he mapped, but I'm very scared of him, so I'm 1 from 4. Remark next best, and Passive Aggressive trialled okay and probably rolls forward and has that map advantage. So it's a tricky little race.
Yeah, I think I was with her last year when she won this race.
We both were.
Yeah. She was. There was something that was a real spruik in the race that she...
Remark got crunched in
Yeah.
this
You were
race.
very bullish.
Yeah. She's always just been a real favourite. And interestingly enough, she was retired, this mare. And then they brought her back. And her jump outs have been very good again. And I'm still a very firm believer that she's a mare that will respond well to headgear. As soon as she finds the front, even in the jump outs, her ears go forward. She's just still doesn't know how to put the races away. So... me being me, I'll probably have something on her, but I can't say she's any better than obviously Private Eye or Aft Cabin, but she's going to have the map advantage. I don't know how quick they're going to go in this smallish field. She'll go forward, roll across. She might get away with it like she did last year. I think Aft Cabin is going to really stamp himself this prep. I think he's a top. I just think
boom on him.
Yeah, I think he's a top colt. I really do. And he's had his few little niggles. He had a bleed early in his career. I think, horses with bleeds can take a little bit of confidence to hit their best, come back with their best. But the way he's trialled, he looks great. And obviously J-Mac knows that too. I know James probably didn't have too many picks in this particular race, but I think he thinks he's a top-class colt too, or horse now. So I'm quite keen just to watch the race, and I'll probably play something on Passive Aggressive.
Just with the bleeds, horses that are bled, they have to be right first up, don't they? Generally, they get them fit. They don't.
Yeah, basically.
First up off a bleed is a good starting point and good focus.
These guys would just be on top of it every day, basically.
They need a winner.
Since it.
Good often. They do. They're going off.
They haven't gone great. They've had Carlos win at Caulfield.
They had a 2-year-old. Where are their 2-year-olds?
Traffic warden.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm looking. I'm going to stay out of this race, but I really wanted to find Marzu first up for Joe Pride.
Well, the way they're watering the tracks, it might be a heavy track.
If there was sting out of the ground,
there will be.
If Darren Flindell sneezes on the track again like he did last week and it gets downgraded to a soft 5, then Marzu comes into play. Best ratings with just a little bit of give in the ground, and the Joe Pride polish for these tried runners, and the trial was slick. Chased a tearaway runner in a Warwick Farm trial. So yeah, Marzu is a watch for me, but no bet at this stage. Let's move to the feature of the day, race number 7, the Group 1 Canterbury Stakes, weight for age 1,300 metres, and Artorius won the race last year. The last time Imperatriz lost a race was this race last year with a slicing ride by Zach Purton. Imperatriz was my best of the day. So Malkovich went hard in the expressway. You'd imagine would set up a similar sort of speed with the likes of Coal Crusher, Bandersnatch and Lady Laguna. Look, the other key speed influences, Tom.
Yeah, we mentioned Buenos Noches got 9.5 lengths, close to 10 lengths off Malkovich and Coal Crusher when they met. I'm very bullish Espiona here, but that is a huge concern of mine that they just run her off her legs, and she ends up so far behind. And a horse, who was the horse that won? King of Sparta, just had that perfect sit. Was there at the right time when the two leaders just got tired, and he just had the right position. And
J-Mac special. And
they couldn't catch from well back. That's the only concern I have with Espiona. I'd hate to see her 5, 6, 7, probably 8 lengths off him. I think she wins. She was enormous. She ran 10, 15, let me look at splits, 10, 9, 6, 10, 6, 4, 10, 7, 6, and 10, 8, 4.
She won't run that on a soft 5.
No, but they're incredible splits. I thought she was the run of the race behind Imperatriz and Private Eye. I love the way she's going. She just needs firm tracks. They found that. I wish she ran in the Newmarket. And I've got her on top. If Espiona isn't here, Think About It wins, but she's here. So I'm leaning the way of Espiona from Think About It.
Think About It. What's the knock on Think About It when you look through...
Non-winner.
When you look through the first up record...
There's no knock.
Jockey stats. Is it just as simple as the price? The trial form's been really good leading in. Is it just as simple as Espiona's a better price?
There's no knock. Espiona's had the run, so the fitness edge potentially, and I think Espiona is brilliant on her day. So where does Think About It get to from the barrier? Does it lob in the 1-1? I don't know. Does it settle outside? I don't know who sits there, but barrier 8. First up, that's a little concern for me with Espiona having the fitness, and I just think she's a brilliant horse. She won second up last campaign, so I've just got to... There's no knock on Think About It.
Yep.
You'd be silly to...
He's on top of me, Think About It, but I'm not overly keen to bet in the race. Reece.
Yeah, I still, to be honest, I don't trust Espiona that much.
That's fair.
To be honest. And we've all just said that she's a better Melbourne mare, and I think she is.
Is that because of firm tracks, or is it direction?
Probably, yeah. Probably. I mean, she's always been a tricky mare. You know, she could lay in that, and that... Yep. I think they've ironed that out now, and J-Mac's another great rider. I mean, there's only one better rider for her, and it's Natural Willa, than J-Mac. But, I can't possibly be backing her against a horse that's won 13 from 15 starts or something very similar to that. He's just a winning machine. And I think with the fast speed, they'll be positive early and should just slot into a lovely trail and be in front of her. And I think she's going to have to be very good to get past him.
That's fair.
Let's move on now to the Group 1 Randwick Guineas for the 3-year-old, set weight 1,600 metres, and it's a nice addition. The honour roll here, the Communist won the race last year, Converge in 22, Lions Raw in 2021, no fillies in this year's edition. The favourite militarised, Tommy, who I know you're keen on, comes through the Apollo Stakes, good form reference around Fangirl and beating home the likes of Think It Over. But the key form reference, or the main form reference for the other runners is also the Hobartville, which was won by Celestial Legend. How do you see the race setting up?
Yeah, Waterhouse Spot control the speed here. They got Gambera and Lee of Ampere. They look the clear leaders, in my opinion. They're both up in distance, which is a positive. They both go from Rose Hill to Randwick, which is probably a negative for me, to be honest, for leaders. So, on paper, I can't see them beating Militarised, but I still have a real icky feeling about Wallow second up. We mentioned it last week. There's just that's something there that concerns me. I don't think Wallow second up is off really good first up runs is the ideal scenario, but this horse it's incredibly hard to go past him. He maps to get the perfect run from 4. McAvoy off, J-Mac on, a 3-time Group 1 winner, twice at Randwick, gets in so well at the weights. He's rated clearly higher than these. He's running the Apollo first up, was exceptional, split the Quinella in the Group 1, very elegant. So everything leads to Militarised, just that little icky feeling with Chris Wallace second up, but I think he'll win. I think he's on top, and I think 210 is value for me.
No strong opinion from me. I just can't wait for Tom Kitten to get to 2,000. He's just a proper 2,000 metre horse, and if he ever gets there consistently, he's going to win a lot more races. Everyone wants to find holes in Nash's rides, but he's just screaming out for ground. Simple as that, the horse, and I can't wait for him. Last time he got to 2,000, he was way too good for him, so... he'll be hitting the line again, and we'll be backing him hopefully next time over further.
Militarised, no doubt, brings the Group 1 form to the race. He's got the runs on the board, but she's Celestial Legend. I'm going to be backing number 3, Celestial Legend here. Just that devastating win in the Hobartville, beating all the key market rivals bar Militarised. He ran the fastest closing splits of the race. It was the 6th fastest last 200 metres of the entire meeting over the trip, and steps up to 1,600 metres. That's going to suit. And you talk about life in racing. Lesbridge, Hobartville, 40 years apart. One of Hobartville got 2 now, 40 years apart. Wow. And in the post-race interview, and look, Celestial Legend, there's something about it, flashy, 3-year-old colt. There's a little bit about that. And he said that this might be the best horse he's had. And when you've had the likes of Classique Legend in your stable, it's a pretty big push. And I'm backing Celestial Legend on stealing. I think he can be something really special. So I'm getting $4 to find out about it too. So he's the clear second, or he's the clear pick, isn't he? It's a 2-horse race for me, Militarise and Celestial Legend, and I'm taking the one at the better odds. Boys, race number 9 was be the last race we'll cover today, which is the Group 3 Aspiration for the fillies and mares 1,600 metres, Tommy.
Yeah, we finish off with the 2 impossible races, race 9 and 10. Mares races, the Winona Girl and the Aspiration. They make it hard for the quaddie players out there. I actually really wanted to be with Osmos, but much better horse second up, but he always needs a run, but gets blinkers on and showed a bit of intent in that recent Randwick trial. So that's the key horse for focus. The other one's Telacifile, good first up behind Well making grounds up in Trip. Looks suited. She's a nice mare. Jay McDonald taking the ride. So they're the 2 horses of interest. Lekvart's Market Fancy and comes from Millie Fox, but gets so far out of her ground. So that's a little bit of concern. Draws 14, probably goes back to near last and maps pretty awkwardly. So that's the knock with Lekvart, but keen to see how Osmos parades with the blinkers first up off that nice trial.
Excellent. I don't have an opinion on this race. I'm staying out. It's
same.
hard. Going wide in the quad. Hey, let's head to Lay Street now, which is going along beautifully at the moment here. We're still in the game, Tommy. Myself, you, Carl. Reece is back starting on 0 after laying Imperatriz. We might even get some graphics up on the socials and look at where we're all sitting with our current lay streaks.
Yeah, we should do that.
We'll give the likes of Carl and Harry something to look forward to doing later today. My lay this week, boys, comes in at Flemington. I spoke about it earlier in the card in the Kewney Stakes, race 6. I'm going to be laying Grinzinger Bell to place as my lay streak this week, just given the conditions leading into that big headwind, and hopefully we'll roll the kitty over.
Good, mates. Good luck. I am laying number 10, Eternal Flame, in race 8, the Matron Stakes. Probably maps to be last, and 1,600 if exposed early is going to be testing for her, and I like Foxy Fred at a better.
I'm going to be laying Stay Focused in the Sires Produce. I just think he's had his career peak, in the Blue Diamond, and now they're going to go one more run. Yeah.
I like it.
But yeah, I have a little issue with him going up to 1,400 after running into the Blue Diamond.
Off a grand final.
Yep. Yeah, grand final, that's right. But I just thought he was way too short.
All right, well, they're our lay streaks. Let's hear now what Jackson Oldham is going to be laying as part of this week's lay streak.
I couldn't have got things more wrong last week. Laying the Tangerine Tiger Sans Doot as he roared up the Flemington Straight and made me look like a right fool trying to bounce back this week. I'm going to lay Flemington race 7, number 1, the Import, Berkshire Shadow for Kieran Maher. To line these up, I've gone to time form. They both have 115 peak time form rating. Amenable did that. That's Amenable, and Berkshire Shadow. Amenable did that with 115 plus, which indicated there was more to come behind Mr. Brightside in the Memsey last year. He was a bit up and down last preparation. He has had the ultimate gear change since, and he's jumped out like an absolute rocket. I think he'll be a proper Group 1 star this preparation and into the spring as well. And the whispers are from the Mark Hamp that Berkshire Shadow will probably need the run. So I expect Amenable to firm right up and start odds on, Berkshire Shadow to drift. So I'll be laying him race 7, number 1, Flemington.
Thanks for that, Jacko. before we finish today's show, we might just have a best back as well. I know we do our lay streak, but it's nice to identify a best bet if punters out there just want to gauge our confidence levels. I know Tommy often gives about 7 plays in each race, so it might be good for someone to just drill one down if they're just looking to have just a little spec across the weekend. Reece, I might throw to you first, mate.
Yep, so I'm going to be best bet in the Shaftesbury Avenue is Amenable. Really keen on him. I think he's a great price still at about the 250, 260 Betfair. And I'm going to give the best value in the Tab Kewney. I think Basilina is a really good 1x3 play. So she's about, I think, 40 to 1 or something like that. So I'm pretty keen on her each way.
Tommy?
My best is the same as Reece's.
Double down.
I think Menable's going to be extremely hard to beat. First up, Gilded. My best value is probably race 6, number 5, Autumn Angel. I think she should be favourite.
Yep. My best bet of the weekend comes up nice and early. Race 1 at Flemington. If this time gets moved, you can watch my best bet with a bowl of Nutrigrain. I like Hedged in race number 1.
Nice.
Always had time for this bloke. Went to the paddock a winner. That win at Sandown got home 11.6 lengths inside benchmark last 600. Latest cramp and jump out was a corker. Sydney way of going too. Don't know if you watched that jump out. So it might be preparing them for a little. It was a reverse angle.
Was that like a Pakenham jump out? Was it?
Oh no, I could see
Far
this
away
one.
vision.
If he isn't the best horse in the race now, he's going to be. So race 1 Hedged for me. Hey, been a lot of fun today, boys. All the best across the course of the weekend. Reece, give us your best runner over the next few days.
I don't even know if I have one. Keep your eye out for Bullfinch in the Echuca Cup Sunday. He's been set for this race.
Beautiful.
What about next
Bullfinch is
Wednesday?
set.
Yeah, we don't know about that yet. There's no barriers or anything yet.
Has
We
the
don't
stable
talk about
come
that.
out and said that he can handle the heat?
Yeah, he'd want to. Let me tell you, he's got a long trip at Echuca at 37 degrees.
Yeah, perfect.
I won't be using that as the excuse.
I love it. Tommy, all the best across the course of the weekend,
You
mate.
too, mate.
A few
Thank
more.
you.
Let's roll some of those seconds and thirds into ones, all right? And we'll be back next week on Layback with Betfair.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.